What's up, guys? Welcome back to yet some more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. And as usual, we got some more Reddit posts to check out today, so feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. Last month, a friend began to cross a flooded river in his car with me in it. I jumped out, now have a letter from his lawyer asking for damages. Early in November, we went to pick up car parts after work that my friend I'll call Aaron, because his name's Aaron and I think he's being an idiot, had bought on eBay. We had to go through some back roads to get to the property and picked it up and all was well. It had been raining for part of the day but really picked up when we were loading the parts, and we got to a causeway we'd passed only an hour before, but it was now covered in what looked like half a meter of water and we stopped. I had been navigating and knew we could back up and take another much longer route, even though the highway was just a bit on the other side of the causeway. There was no way I'd go through the water as it looked, but because I'd been caught on a causeway 20 years ago in less water and had my car pushed off into the river, I didn't want to risk it. I didn't lose that car, but it's one of the scariest moments in my life. I said we had to turn back and could take a different road 10 kilometers around, but that would take us via a bridge over the same river. Aaron decided to push on and started moving, and I panicked and got straight out. It was far more water than I'd had to go through when I near lost my car in life before. I got out well before the water though, so I didn't let water in the car, by the way. Aaron didn't even get halfway across and the water pushed his car off the side, rolled it completely over, and it ended upright on the bank 50 meters downstream. He was extremely lucky not to drown, and I ran down and helped him out. Immediately, he was aggressive and combative because he said with my weight in the car, he'd have made it across. Admittedly, I'm 130 kilograms plus, but his car is a 1,650 kilogram Commodore wagon with a couple hundred kilograms of eBay parts in the back, so it's not like I'd have made much difference. We phoned for help and the river went down within an hour and made it across the causeway by foot. We haven't spoken since and he's avoided me in places we usually go. But on Friday, I received a letter from a lawyer I know is real in our town, but sounds like it was written by my friend. It's asking for $50,000 for the car and personal damages because I made the car unsafe by getting out. It was a 1997 Commodore, maybe worth $1,500 on a good day. Someone reassure me, it's not up to me to sit in someone's car when they're doing something dumb, is it? And a commenter put it this way. So what I gather from this is, friend wants to cross river-washed road. You say it's a bad idea. He says, nah mate, I'm doing it. You get out at fear of your own safety. Friend drives in and car washes away. Your friend blames you because 130 kilograms could have saved it. Yeah, that sounds like a crock of shit. I don't think you're liable for shit. However, I would consult an attorney for legal advice pertaining to this situation. You were in imminent danger and acted on it by ensuring your own safety. There is nothing wrong with that. And that brings us to the update. I went to a lawyer my parents had used a few years ago and they recommended. She took one look at the letter from my friend Aaron's lawyers and said she has concerns about it, and she'd respond. She contacted his lawyer, and my lawyer mailed me to tell me Aaron's lawyers aren't his lawyers at all, but to contact her if I heard more. Aaron had apparently faked up the letter and admitted as much to me yesterday when he finally decided to talk to me. He wants me to retract my complaint to his lawyers about him using their letterhead. I hadn't complained to them myself, so I did the time-honored thing and told him to go pound sand. Rich developer demanded I break safety laws to save money, then tried to ruin me when I said no. On a throwaway because I can't risk this being connected to me at work. I'm a 38-year-old female structural engineer. I've been doing this for a decade and my entire job is to make sure buildings don't fall down and kill people. That means following strict codes, running endless calculations, and refusing to cut corners. Safety comes first, always. 6 months ago, I was leading the structural design for a 15-story office building in a seismic zone. The client, let's call him Eric, is a wealthy developer who made it clear from the beginning that he only cared about cutting costs and speeding up construction. The breaking point came during a project meeting, when he demanded we reduce the thickness of the foundation slabs by 20% to save time and money. As an already experienced engineer, I explained calmly that doing so would violate code and put the building at serious risk if an earthquake hit. I showed him the soil report and calculations backing it up. He looked at me like I was stupid. He lost it. He slammed the table, accused me of being overly dramatic because I'm a woman, and said real engineers know how to bend the rules. When I told him I could lose my license if I signed off on unsafe work, he laughed and said I was talking like a baby. I stood my ground. He kept yelling, saying I was costing him money, threatening to fire me and find someone else. It turned into a 45-minute shouting match. I was shaking by the end, but I refused to budge. After that, he started a smear campaign emailing my bosses, calling me unstable, even trying to pull strings with the city to claim our designs were over-engineered. But thank goodness my firm backed me up and eventually dropped him as a client. His threats of a lawsuit went nowhere because we had airtight documentation. The emotional toll has been awful. Panic attacks, sleepless nights, constant second-guessing. I've dedicated my career to protecting people, and one entitled guy with too much money almost made me walk away from it all. Such entitlement like this wastes time and annoys people like me, and I know it puts lives at risk. My teacher berated me in front of everyone and then she apologized. For context, I'm hard of hearing. Not enough to require hearing aids yet, but it gets in the way sometimes, especially in loud environments. In my university, we had our theoric classes, tests, and finals in these old auditoriums that did not have the best acoustics, so I'd let my professors know ahead of the year so they'd be aware and would not think I wasn't paying attention to the lectures if I asked for repetition. It was test season, and we had this one after a long day. The professor had just let us in and was screaming directions at us to tell us where to put our backpacks and things. I'm not in the USA, and everything is still very old school. During tests, we usually pile all our backpacks on one side of the room, only bringing a pen to the table and collecting them after. I couldn't quite make out what she was saying, so I stood aside watching the others to see where they were putting their stuff. And then she screams at me, "Bring your backpack to the front. What are you, deaf?" She was beet red and furious. She was known for having no patience at all and being unhinged. All eyes on us. Yes, I actually am. I told you this at the beginning of the year. I said it gently, but loud enough everyone heard it too. She went pale, then red again and muttered again that I should bring the backpack to the front. My best friend had to bite her finger to avoid being kicked out from laughing, and the professor's assistant hid a chuckle with their hand and winked at me. When I went to give her my test and take my backpack, looking down at her shoes and once again red like a tomato, she apologized. The expression and grin on the assistant professor's face confirmed to me this woman didn't apologize a lot. She didn't look me in the eye for the rest of the year. By the way, English isn't my first language. My estranged biological father wants me to donate my bone marrow to him. I, 17 male, am adopted. My birth parents weren't able to care for a newborn and I ended up in foster care because of it. I was adopted by my family when I was 2. I have a very happy life, one I likely wouldn't have with my birth parents. About a month ago, my birth parents got into contact with my family. Long story short, my birth father is sick and needs a bone marrow transplant. They are on a wait list, but haven't heard back just yet. I am the only child they ever had, and odds are I am a match. Pretty much, they wanted my parents to get me tested and then donated my marrow to him. My parents told me that it's up to me, and after some thought, I said no. I don't know them other than they gave birth to me. They've had no part in my life whatsoever, and now they suddenly need me. Well, they send my parents a nasty message saying they can sue to force me to donate my marrow. I do feel a little bad, but I feel like this isn't my problem. I have no contact or anything with my birth parents. From what my parents told me, I was put into foster care when I was less than a month old. That is how they got me, and they decided to adopt me, which was finalized when I turned 2. I have 4 siblings, and I have a great life. They told me when I was old enough that I am adopted, but outside of that, I had no idea who my birth parents were, or what they even looked like. Edit, for those of you who keep saying you should reconsider it, how about you donate to him? My parents told me to think about it. I thought about it, and the answer is no. No, I'm not doing it. That's it. Edit 2. It's early. I am getting ready for school between typing this. Read more comments this morning, and again, let me clear something up. My egg and sperm donors didn't lovingly give me up. I was taken. My parents don't know the exact reason because that information was never released to them. They were told, and I quote, "It wasn't a good environment for a child." Even if they had given me up, doesn't mean I owe them anything. And again, some people have pointed out in the comments, odds are I wouldn't be a match anyway. and he has better luck getting a donor off the list, and it will be faster than waiting on me to get tested only to be told I'm not a match anyway. I don't owe them anything. I don't care if she spent 8 hours in labor with me. They aren't my family. I have a wonderful family who are supporting me right now. Also, my parents are working on finding out how the hell they even knew where I was, because my adoption was a closed one. They had their rights terminated when I was taken. They shouldn't know crap about me. I don't know if they are contacting a lawyer or anything. I know they are pretty upset about all of this. I have to get to school. Later. Update. I know this is long overdue. I started college. Long story short, I didn't donate the bone marrow. My birth parents started harassing my family on the regular. Texts, phone calls, letters showing up at places, resulting in calls to the police. They were arrested. My adoption had been closed. They used some shady private investigator to find me, and basically just showed up on the doorstep demanding my bone marrow. My family did press charges. As of right now, as far as I am aware, they are still waiting for their day in court. I guess his illness wasn't that serious, or he got a donation. I don't know. Anyway, just thought I would update this old post. That's it. My ex tried to humiliate me at her wedding. I made sure everyone saw the truth instead. A few years ago, my ex and I broke up badly. She cheated on me with the man she's now married to. We hadn't spoken in over a year when I got an invitation to their wedding. At first, I thought it was a mistake, but then mutual friends told me she wanted me there so she could show me what I missed out on. I showed up out of curiosity. During the reception, she made a little speech, thanking everyone for coming, and then looked straight at me and said she was glad she had upgraded her life. The room laughed awkwardly. I just smiled and stayed quiet. When it came time for people to give toasts, I stood up. I congratulated them and wished them well. Then I thanked her new husband for paying off the credit card debt she had racked up in my name before we broke up, and for finally fixing the car she totaled while drunk driving. You could hear a pin drop. Her new husband's face went pale. I sat down, finished my drink, and left. I heard later that night he demanded answers, and the whole wedding after-party turned into a fight. They're still together, but the story followed them, and she's never been able to spin the perfect couple image again. Anyway, that's going to be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. Take care, friends, and I'll see you next time.